Hi, I'm Mike from Epic Duck Studios, and welcome to Sepulchral Guard Paint by Numbers Part 8. We're going to be painting the base of this miniature. Now, of the Sepulchral Guard, this one has one of the most basic bases. Some of the others have things like bits of skeleton, random bones, or even an entire tombstone sticking out of their base. He's just got dirt and rocks. It's pretty straightforward. Now, to keep this kind of a cohesive color scheme, I'm going to just use paints we've already used for painting the leather and the bones and so on. So I'm going to start by just base coating the earth with some MOURNFANG brown, which is the same color we used for the leather. The only place I really need to be careful here is around his feet, otherwise the base is pretty much free game. Like I say, there's really no detail on it. You know, there's nothing I have to worry about accidentally overpainting, and he makes very little contact with it. This color has a bit of a, like almost a muddy earth sort of color to it, which I felt worked well for what I can only assume is a graveyard, since one guy's literally coming out of his grave on it. There is a little pile of rocks here, so I could paint them gray, but I'm really just not going to worry about it. No one says rocks can't be muddy. Now, because I laid that paint on pretty heavily, it is still wet in some areas, so I do want to let that dry a little before I carry on. With the base coat down, I'm now going to dry brush on a little bit of ZANDRI dust. I've got just a shop towel here, which is basically a glorified paper towel, and I'm going to use that just to blot off the excess paint for dry brushing. Just get a little paint on the palette. Now, Citadel does make specific dry brush paints that are intentionally drier. They contain less of the liquid medium, but you can dry brush with any paint. All you want to do is just load your brush up and blot away as much of the excess as you can, and then on some paper towel or some shop cloth, just kind of rub your brush until very little paint is coming off. And you should see, if you just kind of drag across your finger, you get a very thin kind of streaking. It's a little bit on the translucent side now. And then that you can just rub across the miniature using the side of the brush. I want to be careful around his feet, but I guess it's actually okay if his feet get a little dirty. It will just make them blend into the base. Now I'm going to repeat that same process with just a little bit of Screaming Skull. Next up, I'm going to hit the entire base with a wash of AGRAX EARTHSHADE. Again, I'm being pretty careful around the feet, but the rest of it, you can just slop the stuff on. now we just wait for it to dry. Now, one little detail on the base that actually revealed itself after I washed it is that there is actually one skull back here. So I'm going to come in with just a few of the bone colors and then just black up the rim, call it a day. So we already have Screaming Skull and ZANDRI dust on the palette. So let's turn around, focus on that skull there. Now you can see the wash is still a little bit wet around it, so I'm going to be a little careful here. I don't want this to pool into the wash. I just want to highlight the skull a little bit, make it a little more obvious that it's a separate detail. That's really all we have to do. I mean, we still want it looking kind of dirty around the edges. Doesn't have to look too clean, too pristine. Just get his bottom jaw here, which is a little detached. Alright, so I'm going to grab just a little bit of ABADDON black now. Just black up the rim of this base. Now, because I've already thinned the ABADDON black while I was transferring it to the dropper bottle, I may have to get 2 coats here. Typically, ABADDON black is a little bit of a more opaque, 1 coat sort of color. But I did thin mine down as I transferred it to the dropper bottle. And so my ABADDON black may behave a little differently from yours. There we go. And there is one complete Shadespire Sepulchral Guard. I hope you've enjoyed the first Paint by Numbers tutorial series, and I hope you found these really useful. Whether you're painting Sepulchral Guard or other skeletons or just things with similar colors, hopefully there was something in here for you. There will be more Paint by Numbers videos coming up with different miniatures from different series. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. There's plenty more here on YouTube. You can also join me twice a week at twitch.tv/EpicDuckStudios on Thursday and Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern, where I do stream my painting live. If you want to support the show, you can do that at patreon.com/EpicDuck. Even giving as little as $1 a month helps keep the lights on and the paint flowing. You can also help by hitting subscribe here on YouTube or sharing this video with some friends. Thanks a lot!